Autism and ADHD are often referred to as separate experiences, but if you've looked into both, you've probably seen a lot of the same traits show up. Things like executive dysfunction, sensory sensitivities, and emotional dysregulation. That overlap seems straightforward, but it's more complicated than it looks because even when the traits have the same name, they don't always show up in the same way. And if you're AuDHD, that mismatch can leave you second guessing what's really going on. So today, I'm going to break down why these shared traits can be misleading and how understanding differences can help you make sense of your own AuDHD experience. Let's start with executive dysfunction. It's something that shows up in both autism and ADHD, but the reasons behind it and the way it plays out can be very different. In ADHD, executive dysfunction usually means your brain struggles to regulate action. You might jump between tasks, forget what you were doing, or only finish something when there's pressure or urgency. Your brain needs stimulation to activate. Now, in autism, it's more about overload and the need for predictability. You might get stuck before you even start, mentally rehearsing every single step, trying to make sure nothing will change or catch you off guard. And when things feel uncertain or open ended, your mind can freeze. Now, when you're ADHD, you want to get started, but you're overwhelmed by the mental prep. It's not one trait repeating itself, it's two different systems creating friction in the same space. Now let's talk about sensory sensitivity. It's often called a shared trait, but the way it shows up in ADHD and autism is not the same. In ADHD, sensory input tends to be distracting. You might get thrown off by a sudden sound, a flashing light, or movement in the corner of your eye. It pulls your attention away, but once it's gone, you can usually refocus. Now, in autism, sensory sensitivity is more constant and layered. It's not just one thing, it's everything all at once. Fluorescent lights, background noise, strong smells, scratchy fabrics. They don't just distract you, they invade your nervous system. And the longer it goes on, the harder it is to function. Now imagine living with both. You're overloaded from the sensory input, but instead of stopping, you keep switching focus, reacting, pushing through. You feel discomfort and the urge to ignore it at the same time. And eventually, your system just crashes. It's not distraction, it's relentless stimulation without a reset. And to other people, it looks like you're just a little frazzled or moody or sensitive. They don't see how hard your brain is working just to stay present. That's why sensory sensitivity doesn't tell the full story, especially when both autism and ADHD are in play. Then there's emotion. Now, both autism and ADHD are linked to emotional dysregulation, but again, the timing and intensity work differently. In ADHD, emotions often hit fast. You feel things intensely, and in the moment, you react quickly, and then you move on. In autism, emotions can be delayed. You might not notice you're upset until hours later, and once it lands, it sticks. It can be intense, hard to name, and hard to let go. Now, combine those experiences together. You might say something reactive before you even know what you're feeling, then spend days ruminating, carrying around the emotional aftermath, trying to make sense of it, trying to explain it, and not knowing exactly what happened. You're not overreacting, you're processing emotion on a delay while still reacting in real time. And that doesn't match how most people expect emotions to work. So why does this matter? Well, because when people assume overlap means same, they give you advice that doesn't work. They offer ADHD strategies, but those ignore your autistic needs, or they give you tools meant for autistic brains, but your ADHD brain resists structure the second it feels too repetitive. And when none of it works, you're left feeling confused, discouraged, and stuck, like you are doing everything wrong. but you're not. You're trying to function with two different operating systems running at the same time. And most support systems still don't know what to do to accommodate that. So if you've ever wondered why the usual tools don't work for you, you're not imagining it and you're not broken. You're AuDHD. And shared traits don't always mean shared experiences. The labels might match, but the way they show up in your life is uniquely yours. And understanding that is how you stop fighting your brain and start working with it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you next time.